Today's show, we have more breaking news from Trump and Mike Johnson. There's been just every single day they're coming out with something new. And right now they are planning to use a law that actually comes from 1796. I know this is crazy to say, but this is what's come out. This law was actually used in World War II. And now they plan to use it again to make sure we can get the right people in Trump's appointed cabinet seats. Because if not, then we could have a repeat of what happened in 2016 through 2020, where it could take up to 2 years to go through the entire process of adding each person that Trump wants to his cabinet. This is going to wreck the entire Senate and House because Trump's picks are America first, MAGA first. They said they're ready to get rid of every bought and paid for politician by the lobbyists, and they're ready to clean house. All the swamp is terrified right now, big time too, because Matt Gaetz, who is Trump's pick as the Attorney General, says he is coming for them. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have made a statement that they are looking for applicants to join the Doge team, the Department of Government Efficiency. They said, we want people that are willing to work 80 plus hours a week to focus solely on reducing costs from the federal government. They said we can knock out more than $2+ trillion a year in spending, reduce taxes to almost nothing for everybody. And I don't know about you, but this is music to my ears. We're $36 trillion in debt, and we're finally about to get accountability over our hard-earned tax dollars. We have Lara Trump, who is the co-chair of the RNC, who is now being asked to serve as the replacement senator in Florida for Mark Rubio. Trump's loyalists are taking the highest positions because the American people have given Trump a mandate to do what he said he would do. And so right now, he has to put in loyalists. No rhinos, no backstabbers. And to top it off, our good old president, Joe Biden, has just hurried up and given another $8 billion to Ukraine to help them in their fight. He's trying to do as much as possible before he is out as president. We have a ton of other breaking news for you today. This is just crazy of what we're seeing, but we've got to get things done. Just want to say thank you to all of everybody that's watching, to all of our subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help to grow the channel. And thank you to all of our members of the channel. Remember, the link is in the description to join. We are so thankful that you joined the True Life News fam. And also, thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation. In about a week, we're going to be doing a live donation online, giving to a charity to help those out that with this Thanksgiving season, we want to give back. And I just want to say I'm so grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. But let's jump right into this news because we are on the precipice of everything moving in the right direction for this country. Check it out.
Trump hasn't even been sworn in yet, and the country's already getting back on track. An old Chrysler executive says he's talking to CEOs. They say they're moving their companies out of China and back to the United States. Central American countries are forming a coalition to work with Trump once he takes office. Gas prices are heading below $3 a gallon before Thanksgiving, and grocery prices are dropping for the first time in 4 years. But the real progress starts once Trump's team starts getting its hands dirty. Elon Musk and Vivek are running the Department of Government Efficiency. They're calling it Doge, and they'll have plenty to do. Starting with the pork. The Fed spent $500,000 on a study to see if selfies make you happy. $1 million went to study if Japanese quail were more frisky if you gave them cocaine. The Fed spent $20,000 on drag shows in Ecuador. $80,000 in Ghana asking taxi drivers if climate change makes it harder for them to drive. And $500,000 was spent so Fauci could create transgender monkeys. But it's not just waste.
I'm sorry to interrupt everybody, but do you hear this crap? This makes me so happy. We're finally getting some people who are going to be running the Department of Government Efficiency because of that stupid government spending that we just heard.
There's 3 million federal employees, and a lot of them don't even do much more than collect a paycheck. Most government workers in D.C. are still working from home. COVID's been over for 3 years. But worst of all, $500 billion a year stolen by fraudsters. We lose $500 billion of your money to fraud each year. We're getting ripped off like a Walgreens in San Francisco, and no one cares. We're not even locking up our toothpaste. Trump's about to put armed security guards, Musk and Vivek, in the aisles and catch the shoplifters. But Democrats, no, don't like that. They want the fraud, pork, and work from home.
Elon Musk is going to fail miserably at the homework assignment Donald Trump has given him.
At SpaceX, they've blown up a lot of rockets to get to where they are. I'm not so sure you can blow up things in the federal government quite as easily.
It's the Department of Government Efficiency, and they've got two guys running it, Vivek and Elon. That doesn't sound so efficient.
I'm sorry, I have to show you this. The people are making the stupidest, just dumbest comments on this, and Elizabeth Warren is one of them. She said she made the government efficiency joke. She said, two people doing one person's job, so efficient. Elon Musk replied, unlike you, we're doing it for free. He even went on to say, unlike you, neither of us are being paid. So it is very efficient indeed. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just like these people that they're so critical of people actually going in to take care of American taxpayer dollars, and they're not even getting paid for it.
Elon and Vivek are fighting fraud and cutting waste, and the Democrats are against it. Because why? They work for Trump? Because they're Democrats and they have to be against everything Republicans do? So stupid. Democrats used to be for this stuff.
We know big government does not have all the answers. We know, and we have worked to give the American people a smaller, less bureaucratic government in Washington. And we have to give the American people one that lives within its means. The era of big government is over.
The era of big government was just getting started. In '96, Fed spent $1.5 trillion. This year, about $7 trillion. More bureaucrats, more spending, more debt, and less power for you. And that all changes on January 20th. Maria Bartiromo is the host of Mornings with Maria on FBN. So what do you think Elon Musk and Vivek are going to do on day one?
Oh, well, I mean, you've got this list. They're going to go through this list, and they're going to start chopping things right away. I mean, I think what's even more egregious than seeing the stuff that you just mentioned, that incredible list, is the fact that most people don't even realize how much their money is being wasted. And every year they're paying taxes and they don't really know where that money is going. Now we know how it's being wasted. It's disgusting.
Could you imagine what a more efficient, better government we would have if people didn't steal $500 billion? If the budget's $7 trillion and they're stealing $500 billion, we wouldn't even be in debt if we could clean that up in a couple decades.
And who's accountable? I mean, why is it that we are watching this fraud and this stolen money every year? Who's accountable? Is there? It's like
is there
a
cop? Is there like a cop in charge of the spending?
Yeah.
Doesn't Treasury? I guess now we have two cops, Vivek and Musk. So the Democrats are going to fight this, Maria. The Democrats are going to be against reducing the debt.
Yeah, apparently because it's Trump. I think if anybody could get this done, it's a business person. Because that is the bottom line for business. They are watching costs like hawks, and they are cutting out costs. And that is what the point is. So it's good to get some business, business sense in government to try to cut out that waste.
They say they're going to use AI to get out of that. How are they going to? I don't even know how that works.
I'm not sure how they'll do it, but I have confidence that two businessmen are going to come in and they're going to actually see where the money is going, what's coming in, what's going out, and they're going to actually fix it. So,
what do you think about the rest of Trump's cabinet so far?
Look, I think it's extraordinary that he has been able to name, make 20 appointments in 8 days. Obviously, President Trump is moving very fast.
Yes.
And that's a good sign. It doesn't appear that he is going to allow the mistakes that he made last time happen again, and that is surrounding himself with people who he believes are aligned with him, but actually are undermining him. And I think that's one of his priorities here. So I like it. You know, I mean, certainly there are unconventional picks. Great for Pete Hegseth. So happy for him. I know that he's going to, approach this with incredible seriousness and make a difference. You made so many great points at the top of the show. But look, I think you look at what just happened in the election. People are really happy. And in business, there is this optimism now that you see. I think that there is going to be things that have been on the shelf that are taken off the shelf. I'm talking about deals. I'm talking about money raising. A lot of activity, financial activity, is about to burst. And the reason is because you had people like Lena Khan at the FTC stopping deals. You have, Gary Gensler at the Securities and Exchange Commission throwing tons of rules and regulations at you. It created a pause. It created a freeze in activity. That's about to open up.
A new golden age.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
so.
they're predicting on the street.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, everybody. What we're about to see, like never before. They are not holding back. Thank you so much, Mr. Tracy J. Norby. Let's go. He said POTUS 47 needs to push hard this agenda, make it so fast the Democrats don't have a chance to know what's going on with what he's doing. The spending is for the stuff we don't ever need or use, period. Let's go, Trump. Let's go. And Deanna Rankin, thanks you so much for the super chat. Y'all show Deanna and Mr. Norby some love in the chat, everybody. This is how serious it's getting, everybody. This makes me so happy. Like, I'm on cloud 9 right now. This came out because, remember, they want to be transparent. The Doge, this is their X platform. This is coming from Elon. It's coming from Vivek. They said, we are very grateful to the thousands of Americans who have expressed interest in helping us at Doge. We don't need more part-time idea generators. We need super high IQ, small government revolutionaries willing to work 80+ hours per week on unglamorous cost cutting. If that's you, DM this account with your CV. Elon and Vivek will review the top 1% of applicants. Already, this was posted this morning, already has 5.4 million views. They're not playing around. They're ready to make sure to cut the fat out of government, because I'm telling you this, just like she said, even I think it's Senator Tuberville came out and said this. One moment. Okay, I've got it over here. But they came out and said, check this out.
I've already heard some talk about some of these people on the Republican side. I don't know about this one. I don't know about that one. Wait a minute. We were told by the American people, we've had enough. President Trump didn't get his shot last time because he didn't get his people confirmed.
Yep.
Let us get out of the way as senators and let President Trump pick his assistant coaches, and let's go.
Let's go. That's where it's at right now. This normally doesn't happen as fast as we are seeing it. And the reason is because of this crap right here. They know we have to get it done, and we have to get it done fast.
Well, here's just a few examples of how your government currently spends money. We found that they spent last year $2.3 million injecting beagles with cocaine. It seems that they were curious, their researchers were curious, despite the pain they inflicted on these dogs, they were curious to know if cocaine causes adverse effects.
Are you freaking
Guess
kidding
what?
me?
Read the newspaper. Read the news. Look at the addicts across our country. You think you need to inject beagles with cocaine to know that cocaine's a bad deal? $700,000 was spent to study how male parrots attract their mate. Really? We've got people who go hungry in our country. We got people that are trying to get out from behind poverty, and we're spending $700,000 studying how male parrots attract a female. We spent $187,000 to study whether or not dogs help kids cope.
Are you kidding me?
Of course they do. Ask any pet owner. Any pet owner could have told you, and we would have saved the taxpayer $187,000. We spent $118,000 to study if a metal replica, a robot of Marvel Comics' evil warlord Thanos, could snap his fingers. $118,000, really. They apparently hired some dude to wear metal gloves and then try to snap his fingers. You know what? They found out that it's impossible to make a snapping sound with metal fingers. So robots of the world, be warned, it's hard to snap your fingers.
Do y'all hear this crap? You cannot make this up. You don't see this stuff on mainstream media, and that's what makes me so upset. We see a little bit of it, but we don't actually see where our taxpayer dollars are going. And that's why Trump, Elon, Vivek are so adamant about getting this done. And then they put in the pit bull, Matt Gaetz, who's going to be the attorney general, hopefully, so that if any of the Democrats try to go after him, try to go after Vivek or Elon or Trump again, they're not going to be able to. They tried to do it over this past 4 years. They were unsuccessful. The truth came out and all the cases are being dismissed. But that's why it's so important to get the right people in office. Check this out.
Of your opponent. Do you notice how the response to Rubio and Ratcliffe has been muted, but the response to Gaetz and Hegseth hasn't? The left is losing their minds. Pete Hegseth is now the nominee for Defense Secretary, a huge job running the Pentagon, and Gaetz at AG. Folks, all the right people are losing their minds. This is what I mean by this. I want you, please, get them those horse blinkers on right here. Look straight ahead. This is super important. When the people who hate you and have weaponized government to destroy the constitutional republic, Donald Trump and you, the MAGA crowd, when the people who hate you are furious about something, they're furious about it for a reason, because they know there is a legal reckoning coming. That's why. And Trump, you've got to trust the plan. Trust what he's doing.
Yes.
Now does... Gosh, I want to... Now does it make sense why he's appointing people in this order? Some people, folks, are more mainstream picks. I told you yesterday, please listen to the show, and some of you got upset at me. It's fine, it's a family. I'm not the king here. I'm not the dad. I'm just part of the family like anyone else. I'm your uncle who likes some Casa Dragones once in a while. That's it. But your uncle's been around a little bit. I said to you, you're not going to like every pick, because Trump is gaming this out perfectly. Folks in the chat, do you see what he's doing? Seriously, put it in there. I'm reading. He's announcing some picks that are loyalists. He's not putting anyone who's not loyal in there. But, may not have been the hardest conservatives or MAGA people in the past, but are loyal to him, and he knows they'll get the job done. Got a Rubio, you got a Noam, a Stefanik, a Lee Zeldin. I'm not knocking these people out. I'm just saying, he's announcing some of them. He quiets down the temperature on the and then boom, boom. Who's got the people's elbow? Rocket in the chat. The people's elbow comes down. The people's elbow. This is what Rock'em Sock'em Robots is. You hit him, you hit him, you hit him. Then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this doesn't hurt so bad. And boom. And then there it is. There it is. The people's elbow, man, just comes off the top rope. Macho Man Savage style. Do you see what do you think this is being done by accident? Trust your guy. No, not there it is. There it is in chat. You guys are rocking it, man. Yeah, I love you guys. Trust your guy. Who, Dan? No, yeah, trust me, but Trump knows what he's doing, man. Give this guy some time. So let me just say a couple things. Cutesy time is definitely over, all right? This is what cutesy time is over looks like. All the right people are pissed off. And I'm giving you an honest take because I've never you. I don't agree with Matt Gaetz on everything. I thought the speaker plan, you heard me on the show. I wish we had an exit plan, a better ramp. I think it worked out. I mean, listen, we can work on Johnson. There's a lot to improve there. McCarthy, who knows? I mean, we'll see in the long term if we can get some legislation passed, however. But you gotta, let's be straight. You know, we haven't always seen eye to eye on things. But I'm gonna tell you something. When it came to the Secret Service debacle and keeping President Trump alive, I met with Matt Gaetz up at the Heritage thing when I did that little congressional hearing we did. And there's no one more concerned about keeping Trump safe than this guy. Let me show you a little Matt Gaetz for all the people freaking out. Like, oh, he's not going to get confirmed. Stand by on that. You sure? Maybe. We'll see. But there's a plan. Trust it. Here's Matt Gaetz versus Christopher Wray. This is one of the finest clips you'll see today. This guy understands that Christopher Wray, who hopefully will be leaving his job the minute Trump is sworn in, Matt Gaetz gets it. The FBI management has worked as a singular force to destroy liberties and freedoms in the United States, and they better get a guy in there who's willing to see it for what it is. This guy sees it. Watch this.
I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Ooh. Absolutely not. The FBI does not and has no interest in
you won't answer the question about whether or not that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it.
Oh, it
because
100% is.
To the millions of people who will see this, they know it is. And your inability to acknowledge that is deeply revealing about you.
Now, apparently some Republican senators are bitching and moaning and griping already. This guy, Andrew Desiderio, says, hey, my phone's blowing up with Republican aides aghast at the nomination of Gaetz. Were they aghast at the nomination of Derek Farland, sometimes known as Merrick Garland? I'm not so sure. They didn't sound aghast. They were aghastless with Merrick Garland, but now they're aghast. They're aghast. What do you want to date him? How many times do I got to tell you this? Michael, if I not said this 1,000 times, what is this, a Tinder site? I don't like Matt Gaetz. I don't like the way really? What do you want to date with him? What do you want to do? You looking for some after-hour activities with him or something? What are you worried about? All I'm worried about is a guy who gets it and is going to clean up the act over there. Who's a +1 or a -1. I see the world transactionally as a spreadsheet. You're going to fix the government or not. That's it. Senate Republicans, you better get your asses in line. I'm sorry. We've got a big army of people out there not really happy about what happened in the Senate with the majority leader race. We're waiting to see what happens now. This is Trump's pick. A lot of people wouldn't have jobs if it wasn't for Trump. That's a fact. You got your panties in a wad over this? Get with the program. Already got, Susan Collins and others start out with, we're not voting. Okay, fine. I promise you, Trump has a plan. Senator Susan Collins, now she opposes Matt Gaetz. Of course she does. Probably loves Merrick Garland. Probably thinks he's a real
And I'm telling you this, the whole point, remember, of Trump doing all this is to limit government size. Andy, thank you so much for the super chat. Guys, Alex Jones show, radio, been on for over 30 years, 24-hour, 24/7 radio show. Just got shut down this morning. I have good news. There's a lot of big conservative outlets out there that are going to be having him on their show, and helping to continue to get his message out. And he is going to start a new show. But I want you to hear this, because this is the type of crap that nobody tells you about. This is the stuff that happens behind closed doors, and all it is government trying to control people more and more every single day.
It's not just winning the election. It's actually, are we actually going to do what conservatives, Republicans, when they've governed, have long failed to do? I think the real myth we've fallen into is believing that we can reform this system, that we're going to reform the deep state, that we're going to fire Christopher Wray or whoever at the top of the FBI and put in a new figurehead on top, that we're going to reform the bureaucracy. And I think that reform is just a myth.
It is.
Right? It's impossible. We're not running against, it's not that Christopher Wray is an individual bad actor at the top of the FBI. He's just another cog in the system, just like Kamala Harris, just like Joe Biden. And so the question for us, the real test for us, I think, Tucker, is not going to be the election in November. It is going to be whether we have the spine to actually see through and do the hard thing that we've never done before. Nobody's done it. No, Donald Trump in his first term is the closest we've gotten. But nobody's really stepped up and said, no. Are we actually going to try to reform and massage this thing to incrementally window dress it and advance our own goals? Or are we actually going to get in there and shut it down? And I think that is the one answer that will save this country. And I'm supporting Donald Trump because I believe he's the man who is going to be the best suited to get that job done. But the real test comes not in November, but after that to me.
That's the big question, everybody, because a lot of people don't realize that over the past every year, there's 90,000 pages of regulation that is poured on the American people in trying to control them. There's crap like this. You don't think the government wastes money? This is Pelosi opened up a liquor store in the House of Representatives where members can buy alcohol with taxpayer-funded MRAs. This is where Doge comes into effect. Look at this crap. This is official. Look at this. Drinks.house.gov. 6-packs and more. Like, show your ID. This is literally what our taxpayers were buying these House of Representatives money for them to go drinking. Thank you so much, B1 Sly 1 and Judy Lynn Loving Spirit for gifting the True Life News memberships. Let's go. And thank you, Andy, for the super chats. Y'all show them some love in the chat. But the biggest thing, remember, is Trump needs loyalists. Trump needs people he can depend upon. There was a lot of talk about replacing Mike Johnson, but he has unanimously kept the Speaker of the House. They're not going to have a vote. And he has some news for us on the next steps of what I was telling you at the beginning of this video. They are going to use and enact some old laws in order to get Trump's cabinet picks in place. Check it out.
On Capitol Hill today, meeting with House Republicans who are now only one seat away from reaching that magic number of 218. Is expected they will have 222, 223 at the end of the day, officially retaining control of the chamber. After a big endorsement from Donald Trump, while House Republicans then unanimously backed Mike Johnson to remain as Speaker of the House in January. He joins us now. Mr. Speaker, thank you. We appreciate it. So, the polls were showing there was a 70 to 80% chance you would lose the majority in the House. That did not happen. You have a majority, albeit, again, a small majority, but you have a bigger problem, and that is you will fairly soon be losing, well, you already lost Matt Gaetz because he resigned today, but Lee Stefanik, Mike Waltz. How do you handle that so that at no point does control of the House get into the hands of the Democrats?
Yeah, it's a great problem to have, Sean. We have an embarrassment of riches in the House Republican Conference. Lots of talented people who are very attuned to the America First agenda, and they can serve the country well in other capacities. But I've told President Trump, enough already. You got to give me some relief. I got to maintain this majority. And he understands that, of course. We've been talking about it hourly almost every day. I think we're going to be settled. The numbers that you just projected there, I think, will be the reality, and we will have the majority. I think these seats, Matt's, for example, his resignation today was to help us because it starts the clock under Florida state law. It's about a 8-week process to fill that seat. So if we do this quickly, and I've already called Governor DeSantis to ask him to kickstart this thing, we could have that seat filled by January 3rd when the new Congress begins. So that would be one seat replaced almost immediately. All three of those that you mentioned, all three of my friends, all come from deep red districts. Yeah.
Would it be beneficial if Mike Waltz of Florida did the same thing?
Well, I'm going to talk about with him tonight about that. The timing matters. We need to stagger these things. He's going to fill a very important position for the president and for the country, and we don't want to delay that. And he doesn't have to be appointed by the Senate, his position. So we'll be able to figure that out. I know Governor DeSantis is going to be very busy working on all these matters, and the one you discussed in the previous segment, filling the Senate seat. So he'll be an active participant. We'll get this done. We're assured to have Republicans reelected in all these seats. seats. And we'll work with a smaller majority of 1 or 2 for the amount of time that we have to, but we're going to be very aggressive, Sean. We're going to move the America First agenda for the American people beginning on day 1. And we have all this work stacked up and we're ready to go.
Let's talk a little bit about Elise Stefanik in New York. How does the process work there?
Well, Elise has a similar situation under New York state law. The governor there, Hochul, can't play games with this. It's about a 80-day process, roughly. And she comes from a very safe red district as well, so we'll get a strong Republican there. The county chairs are already working to come up with a consensus on who they'll put forward as the party's nominee, and we'll get that done. President Trump's already committed. If necessary, he'd go up there and do a rally. I mean, we will get this job done. But Elise is going to do an extraordinary job at the UN as the ambassador there. She's a strong voice. She's Harvard educated, really smart, very sharp and unflappable, and she will advance America's agenda at the UN again. That's a really important position, so I'm delighted she got it.
So it almost sounds like it would be better if she were to resign sooner than later also. Let me ask you, tell us first about the meeting with President Trump today where he endorsed you. And have you had any conversation with the new Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, who outwardly was very supportive of the Trump agenda? And do you believe that the House, the Senate, and the President are all going to be on the same page? Because in my view, in my mind, you have between 18 months and 24 months to get a lot of this agenda through.
You're exactly right. And the atmosphere here on the Hill is one of euphoria. I mean, the Republican Party is united and energized like I've never seen it, Sean. We had a great time with President Trump this morning. He came and visited with the House Republican Conference, as you saw, and he gave a ringing endorsement of me and our leadership team. And that was very helpful. The unity aspect of this is very important because we have to work together. I did call Leader Thune today and congratulate him on his victory. We talked for a short period of time about the agenda going forward and how we have to do this in a bicameral fashion. We need the House Republicans and the Senate Republicans to be in lockstep on exactly the same page, and we will be. And he's excited about that. He's committed to the America First agenda as well. And we laughed about how our home cities and counties, his county, my parish, voted overwhelmingly for President Trump in a landslide. And our people and all the American people really desperately want and need and deserve this, and we're going to deliver.
Well, man, I love it, everybody, because let me tell you this. The one thing that a lot of people have said was, well, Rubio, isn't he a rhino? What about this Thune guy? They've shown opposition to Trump in the past, this and that. Guys, there is so much pressure on everybody in the entire government to do what Trump's agenda is. There's a mandate by all the American people. The majority of them said, we want the America First agenda. And I can promise you this, if those senators and people do not follow it, they will not get reelected. And Elon Musk has already come out and said if anybody tries to backstab or tries to go against Trump's agenda, that he is going to personally fund the other person who goes against them in their next reelection and put all the money to make sure that they lose. I'm telling you, things are getting more serious than ever on making sure that we have an America First agenda. We get the rhinos out. We get all the deep state politicians. Remember, because Trump said we're going to have term limits. And a lot of these guys are like, wait, I plan to be a politician for my entire life. No more of this crap. No more being paid by lobbyists. No more of this just being career politicians and living on the American taxpayer's dime. You come in, you serve for 2 terms, get your butt out and go work at a private sector job and help grow the economy. Senator Rick Scott came out and has called on Ron DeSantis to appoint Lara Trump to the U.S. Senate. Because remember, Marco Rubio left to be the Secretary of State. And this is big, everybody. Because Lara Trump is somebody who they're like, man, does she have presidential potential in the future? Could she be? Because she's done some freaking amazing things. She helped lead the coalition of 230,000 poll watchers, poll observers to make sure we had free and fair elections. Over 500 lawyers in every single swing state to make sure that if anything arose, they were ready to fight in court. And remember, in Pennsylvania, it did. There were multiple places where they tried to kick out these people from voting in predominantly Republican places, and she was on it, making sure that we could have free and fair elections. Check this out, because I don't know. I love what's happening, but we're moving into another stage of America, I believe.
Let us talk about all that your family has been through and the utter silence, not only of Democrats, but the legacy media, which for 9+ years has been after your family. And in the end, all their reporting, all their hysteria, all their screaming and yelling and ranting and raving and proclamations of whatever about your father-in-law were meaningless. It had no impact on the American people. What does that say to you?
Yeah, well, the American people don't buy it, Sean. And, you had the proof of Donald Trump for 4 years in the White House previously. And that's why the American people overwhelmingly came out on November 5th and voted for Donald Trump and his America First policies. And it's incredible to see how people are so upset about, the Matt Gaetz pick. And they're very worried, I think, about some sort of revenge or retribution by Donald Trump. But let's be very clear. Donald Trump said, my revenge will be success, and success will bring us together and unify us. Take a look at that meeting he had with Joe Biden today, by the way. Could not have been nicer, could not have been friendlier. Joe Biden was all smiles there. And you saw the way that those two men got along. Donald Trump was very professional in that meeting. Listen, no one understands more so how broken some of these systems are and how they need to be restored, in the faith that we as the American people have need to be restored in these systems more so than Donald Trump. They were all weaponized against him. He doesn't want retribution. He wants success for America and the American people. He wants energy dominance. He wants us to regain our standing on the world stage. He wants to make communities safer and make life better for the American people. And he knows that the best way to get his revenge is the way that he has always done it, Sean. It's proving his critics wrong. And every single time they say Donald Trump can't do it, he can't get the job done, guess what? He always comes through for the American people. I think we're poised, as he says, to see the golden age of America, and it'll be thanks to Donald J. Trump.
Sherry Garcia, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. She said, my chat sailed without me. Gaetz is our bulldog sickum. Y'all show Sherry some love in the chat, everybody.
Your husband, Eric Trump, was quoted in the Daily Mail as saying that his father has no interest in retribution, and even said that he would likely strongly consider pardoning Hunter Biden as a sign of goodwill. And now we have this issue involving Matt Gaetz. And I've got to believe Matt Gaetz, who's been fighting against weaponization, will make a strong statement against it with a promise never to do it. Your reaction?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think that we want to get back to an America where we look at each other not as Democrats or Republicans, but as Americans. And that's what Donald Trump has been fighting for. He's fighting, whether you voted for him or not, for you out there, for your life to be better. And for the America First policies, again, things like closing our border and keeping our streets safer, giving respect back to our law enforcement officers. These are things that are going to really positively impact people's lives. I think that if it is not already done by the time January 20th rolls around, you may see Donald Trump pardon Hunter Biden. Because, Sean, we should put all this in the past. We should start focusing on actually doing effective things for the American people. With people like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy that you heard about today, that is going to actually impact people's lives. You should never see any of these systems weaponized against an American citizen like what has happened to Donald Trump multiple times. No one understands this better than he does, and no one wants to see it brought to an end more than Donald Trump.
The New York Post is with the appointment of Senator Rubio to be the next Secretary of State, is saying that you apparently are a top choice of Governor Ron DeSantis to replace Marco Rubio. Have you had any conversations with Governor DeSantis? And I guess more importantly, would you be interested in being, I guess, my senator? Because Marco's leaving me. Would you consider? Would you throw your hat in the ring? Would you want that job on the heels of the great job you did at the RNC? And the answer is again.
And the answer is.
And the answer.
Someone didn't want me to
answer is. You got a ringing endorsement when you fell off the air from Lindsay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, LaraTrump.com. LaraTrump.com.
So here we go. Here we go.
Well, listen, I was truly so honored to be the co-chair of the RNC through really the most historic election, I think, of any of our lifetimes. And I was really honored to do it and proud of our team because we accomplished, Sean, everything that we set out to do. We wanted to make sure that we got out our voters. We wanted to make sure people voted early. We wanted to make sure we had a world-class election integrity team and that we actually gave voters the confidence to come out and vote, knowing their vote would matter and their vote would count and there would be no funny business. And obviously, we broke records of fundraising and all the things. So everything we set out to do, we did. And to be able to serve in this role has really been the honor of a lifetime. Likewise, if I am able to serve, I would love to serve the people of Florida. This is my home state now and has been for 3 years. This is where Eric and I live. And truly to have that opportunity, I think would be incredible. No one knows better than I do the America First agenda or the goals of Donald Trump in the coming 4 years. So if I am asked, I would love to consider it, but I have yet to have a conversation with Governor DeSantis, so we will have to see.
Guys, I feel like it's coming. You know, they little by little, things are being unraveled. Trump's people are stepping in, and it's wonderful. Because I'm telling you what, the tides are turning. So check this out. Nancy Pelosi was just fact-checked by Washington Post. You know the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, who literally a day before the election came out and said, you know, we got to start hiring more conservatives. People don't trust the media. And I mean, because the Washington Post did not endorse Kamala Harris for president. Well, the Washington Post came out, claimed, because she made a claim that fewer migrants crossed the border under Biden, which everybody knows is a bunch of you know what. And this is again, too, they're always trying to gaslight people. But this is where the tides are turning. But again, we've still got, like there's so many things changing, everybody. This came out this morning, and it just irritates me because they're trying to get things done so fast before Biden is ousted. Listen to this.
As we're working to make sure that Ukraine has what it needs to effectively defend itself, the United States continues to step up. We've obligated just recently and pushed out the door another $8 billion in security assistance for Ukraine. That was in September. Another almost $500 million just a few weeks ago. And President Biden is committed to making sure that every dollar we have at our disposal will be pushed out the door between now and January 20th.
But that bothers me so much because we don't have money. We are having to borrow money to give to other countries because our dang country is $36 trillion in debt. This is why Trump is bringing in all these people, because it's done. It's time to clean house. It's time to take care of American people first. That flag represents America, the United States of America. We need to put America first. And again, $8 billion. Guys, this is not little money. Not 8 million, 8 billion. And when I think about it, it takes $1,000 million to make 1 billion. So $8,000 million to make $1 billion. And it's just like, wow. But I love who he's putting in place. Listen to this.
Newly nominated Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Well, first of all, congratulations, Tulsi. We're all very proud of you. Take us into the room or the airplane when this was offered to you. How did it go down?
We had a great conversation and talked a little bit about the work that needs to be done. And I was grateful and honored to accept President Trump's offer to serve our country and support his objective to defend the safety, security, and freedom of the American people as the Director of National Intelligence.
How do you think foreign capitals are taking your nomination and the nomination of other people in the national security apparatus?
It's a good question. I think President Trump has already shown how active he has been in not waiting around for day one on January 20th or 21st, but he's already leading. He's already engaging with so many of these world leaders around the world on the phone constantly, and he's showing the kind of leadership that the American people voted for.
Do you expect resistance from the inside? Because there was a lot of resistance in the first term, and how would you deal with that?
The American people delivered quite an incredible mandate for change in this election, with the popular vote and the electoral vote overwhelmingly saying, hey, we want Donald Trump as president, and we've had enough of the Harris-Biden regime.
Wow.
Of course, there's going to be resistance to change from the swamp in Washington. I think that's kind of the point. The American people are saying, hey, stop looking at yourselves, stop focusing on your own power, your own position, your own bank accounts. How about we have leaders in Washington who are actually looking out for the American people? And on every issue across the board, that's really what it comes down to with what President Trump is trying to accomplish is we have to make sure that our government puts the interests of the American people first.
How did you think the Biden meeting went today?
It was interesting to see that Biden didn't seem to be able to stop smiling. for them to have sat there for what she said a couple hours and good. I'm glad that they sat there. They had a seemingly good conversation. President Trump, I'm sure, is eager to get to work and glad to be back there.
What do you think Kamala is thinking right now?
I can't even begin to venture how she's feeling right now. The amazing thing is what I hope the American people are feeling is a sense of hope. And frankly, Jesse, I've been heartened to see how engaged people continue to be, even though the election is over, that they're really looking forward to making sure that their voices are continued to be heard as we go through these next couple of months, as President Trump takes office, as he begins to lead this significant change in our government. To me, this is what an active and thriving democratic republic looks like. It's not just centered around an election every 2 years or every 4 years. It's going to continue to require an active populace in this country in order to bring about this kind of change that makes sure we have truly a government of, by, and for the people.
And you're going to be very active working alongside this team. You got Waltz, you got Radcliffe, you got Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio. How excited are you, and what are the plans?
I think a lot of us, I think we're all eager to get to work. There is so much to be done. Meetings have already begun. President Trump is leading the charge in making sure that on day zero, once he takes that oath again on January 20th, that we're all chomping at the bit to get after it.
That's great. I mean, that's why people are so excited. You can feel it. You can smell it in the air almost. It's almost distracting because people can't wait to get started and see what you guys are going to be up to. How are your Democrat colleagues taking it, or former Democrat friends? You left the Democratic Party, you became a Republican, now you are in a Republican administration. What's been the reaction from those people?
Jesse, I'm actually pretty heartened. I've heard from some of my former Democrat colleagues who are still serving in office today, as well as some who've left and are no longer serving in the House or the Senate, reaching out and in what I hope could be and should be an effort for us to work together and put the American people first, to uphold, support, and defend the Constitution, and again, ensure the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. This should be the objective of every single member of the House and the Senate, every single person who works in our government. And so I was glad to hear from some of my former colleagues who I haven't heard from in a little while.
That's really nice. I mean, you'd expect that in a republic. Everybody wants to be safe.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be secure. It should be bipartisan. Do you expect to get the support from leading Democrats when you push an America First agenda through?
I would hope that we have elected leaders who have heard the American people in this election, even if it didn't turn out the way that they wanted, and recognize that this is our opportunity to come together as a country and put the American people first and work together in order to be able to accomplish that.
Nothing controversial about putting the American people first. Tulsi?
That is so messed up. Like, it really bothers me that we have to say America first. And there is half the country that doesn't like that. They literally, no, we can't be America first. Like, you literally live in this country. You pay taxes to this country. The country and the politicians should be serving you. But I'm telling you this. This just broke, everybody, and it makes me very upset. The Democrat Bucks County, remember Bucks County, a lot of votes come out of Bucks County, Pennsylvania. The race between McCormick and Casey is between 0.5% of all the votes. That's how close it is. So that by law constitutes a recount of the votes in Pennsylvania. So they just announced, the commissioners, to count misdated and undated mail-in ballots to try and help Bob Casey. And one of them straight up says that she knows it's illegal, but simply does not care. Listen to this.
We reject all three categories of these ballots.
Your motion is to reject or dismiss the challenges in this category in front of you?
Correct, yep.
Not going to second that, mostly because I think we all know that precedent by a court doesn't matter anymore in this country, and people violate laws anytime they want. So for me, if I violate this law, it's because I want a court to pay attention to it.
Do you hear that crap? So she literally just says, when they said the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania they already voted, they already decided we're not going to count misdated and undated mail-in ballots because you know that there's fraud in that crap. And this woman who's a commissioner just literally said, I want to break the law. I want to violate it. Let's go ahead and do it because the courts doesn't matter anymore. This is how crazy some of these Democrat people are getting because Trump won. This Trump derangement system or Trump derangement syndrome is just dumb. It's stupid. I'm so tired of it. Casey lost. McCormick won. We've got more Senate seats, and now they're trying to overturn it. Let me know your thoughts, everybody. Sherry Garcia, thank you so much for the super chat. She said, with God's hand, 5 loaves plus 2 fishes over 5,000 remainder of 12. There's nothing we can't do with God's hand in the game. Let's go. And thank you so much to David M. American Patriots Unite for the super chat. Y'all show them some love in the chat, everybody. This just broke, everybody. But I can bet you this. You know who's going to be on it? Lara Trump. I bet you anything. I'll be reporting because you know we do 2 shows a day, Monday through Friday, that we're going to be reporting tonight that the RNC is going and fighting this because it's not right. She should automatically lose her position as commissioner for what she just said. It is crazy where they're going to. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And thank you to everybody who's a member of the channel. The link is in the description to join the True Life News fam. We're so appreciative and grateful that we can serve you every single day. And thank you to everybody who's given a super chat donation. Remember, if you haven't hit the thumbs up like button, please do so. It really does help the channel. Thank you, Andy with AF, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, Deanna Rankin, B1 Sly One, Judy Lynn Loving Spirit, Sherry Garcia, David M. American Patriots Unite. We appreciate y'all so much. We are here for y'all. Love y'all. I see Deanna Scott, Miss Tracy J. Norby, Judy Lynn Loving Spirit, OG Dog. I see all these, Sandra Mario Enzi. We got Tarina Smith, Deanna Rankin, Lay Lewis. Y'all are true ones. B1 Sly One. I'm so thankful. We're building an amazing community. Remember, in about a week, we're going to be doing a live online donation to a charity for Thanksgiving. And I just want to say I'm so thankful, every single one of y'all. I love you all. Appreciate you. And I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.